You're listening to the ADHD Heroes Podcast, a podcast where we speak with the heroes of the ADHD community, namely educators, mental health professionals, and of course, those with ADHD themselves, to gain insights, tools, and most importantly, inspiration towards succeeding and thriving with ADHD. I'm your host, Rabbi Shmuel Reich, a high school rebbi and an ADHD coach in private practice. Welcome to the show. Hi there. This week is an unusual episode for the following reason. When I decided to launch the podcast, I needed to find an interviewee who would share great content and be gracious and generous enough with his time to record with me, even though I had no idea what I was doing. My friend Ari Walkin was the man for the job. A true ADHD hero, he is enthused to push himself to grow or to help a friend, even when the path forward is completely uncharted. I know Ari from the yeshiva in which I teach, called Ohr Yisrael. He joined the yeshiva when he was in 11th grade, and I was in my late 20s studying for rabbinic ordination, or smicha. As you will hear in the interview, he was not the kind of student the yeshiva was trying to attract, and at first, they did not accept him. But once they did, they catered to his very specific needs with great success. In our conversation about Ari's story, he discusses his struggles in school, a unique perspective on boredom, the value of self-care, working out, the great outdoors, and a lot more. Since we recorded this close to a year ago, a number of things have changed since then. The first is that I was really clueless then, and hearing myself now from this recording is a little bit cringy, to be honest. I hope since then my podcast persona sounds more like me being me, and less like me playing podcast host. It was also before I had the producer, who helps me in so many ways, and he did his best to fix up the sound quality on the recording that I had done myself. Additionally, since we recorded this conversation, Ari began teaching in the yeshiva called Ohr Yisrael. He began practicing as a mental health counselor and expanded his practice as a personal trainer. To reach him for therapy or personal training, his phone number will be in the show notes. Also, a public service announcement. We will be taking a week off for the holiday of Pesach, so the next episode release will not be in 2 weeks, but rather in 3 weeks on April 24th. In the meantime, you have the opportunity, of course, to binge listen to any episodes you may have missed somehow. Have a wonderful Pesach and enjoy. Hi there. Tonight's guest is my good friend and colleague, Ari Walkin. Here to join us. Ari, welcome to the show. Sorry, tell us a little bit, just what are you up to right now?
All right. First of all, it's great to be here. Love this little house. So cozy, guitar, this painting brings me in the zone. I love it. It's almost like an ADHD friendly house. So I appreciate that a lot. I started working probably about 8 years ago. I got a little gig. I taught 3 kids. They all had crazy ADHD. Obviously, that's why they pawned them off to me. 3 kids in 11th grade, and we did a whole sheer first aider, and we would go out to the lakes and cold plunges. And, I obviously, when I was younger, I struggled a lot with ADHD, so I tried creating an ADHD friendly class. Very interesting experience. From then, I coached a lot of kids, got a lot of calls. I opened a few things up. Actually, we'll talk about that a little later. But mainly, I think that most of the things I'll be saying tonight just come from my own experience, my own thoughts, and it's not scientific and reading in books. I can just tell you from my journey and what works and what I thought didn't work at all.
Fantastic. That sounds really exciting. So let's get right to it. What was elementary school like for you?
Elementary school, going back memory lane over here. Give me a minute to get in the zone. I would say right away, you asked me how elementary school was. I would say basically wasn't. I wasn't able to listen in any classes. I was always kicked out. Not kicked out oh, you have to go out for the day. Kicked out of English completely, home, going back, forth, suspended every other day. I don't think I had the ability at all to listen in class and pay attention and actually gain any information. So I got through it because I had to get through it and just moved on. All the consequences that came with not paying attention and not having any desire to be in the place where you are, I endured that.
Ouch. That's really hard. Anything you can look back and say you wish you had known then, something you know now?
So I was thinking about that actually a lot. If there's like even something for now, let's say something I could change for if my kids are ADHD. I think not. I think that even if right now I would go back to elementary school with my older self, with my more developed brain, with all my knowledge, I think I would still get kicked out and suspended, and all the same exact things would happen. I don't have the ability to sit through class for so long. It's just there's just no way I would be able to do it. So I don't think it would matter. It's not an information thing that, oh, now that I have information, now I can do it. There's just a way people function, and being in school, it's just not.
Right. So you're saying some people are built to sit in a classroom for hours and hours and hours all day, and some people are not built for that.
That's correct. I don't know if anyone's built for hours and hours, but there's definitely people that are built for that.
Got it. Okay. How about high school? High school, the years that followed, what did those look like?
So high school is pretty much the exact same thing as it went on. I was just out of a bunch of yeshivas in the beginning until 11th grade. I came to Ohr Yisrael. Big plug. It's the yeshiva that I'm still in now.
Shout out Ohr Yisrael.
I like to say that I'm furniture over there. It's not going, I'm not going either. I remember when I came to Ohr Yisrael for the first time, I don't think I unpacked my bags. First, I didn't even get in right away. I had to push like crazy, so I came late. Finally, they let me in, and I don't think I unpacked my bags. I figured I'd be there for a few more weeks, get kicked out of there, and moving on to the next place. And I remember I was sitting in class one day, and I was in rebbi cram chair, and a kid walks in to the classroom, and he kicks a ball across the room. Little class, and everyone's sitting, and it wasn't like a little kick. It was like from wall to wall, bouncing around. And I was like, whoa, okay, he's about to get wrapped. And rebbi cram doesn't flinch. Nothing, continues, like everything. And I remember thinking to myself, now, all right, I'll be here for a little bit. I think I found my spot. So that's I think when things began to change big time. Ohr Yisrael gave me a lot of reins in my life. I didn't have to show up to share. I didn't have to do much. And I remember every single day I used to go to the woods. And every single day, the little jog up Coe Farm Road.
I do, yeah.
And exactly 2 miles from the yeshiva to the park. And I would run into the woods. I'd be lost. I would go into the river over there. I did water hikes up the whole river, swam over there. I met random people, and I would take notes and think. And I would spend not my whole day, but a huge chunk of my day, basically every single day, just thinking and imagining and wishing and remembering and processing. And I think from that moment, I actually became a human, and I started actually making forward moves and making a life and learning who I was and what I was doing, what life is. Until then, I was behind the ball. I was not behind the ball. The ball was behind me. I had no chance of hitting anything. And when I came to Ohr Yisrael, it was the change of everything. So I would say high school was the same as elementary school till I came to Ohr Yisrael, and I was able to, build myself the way I saw fit.
Wow, that's incredible. What would you say did it? Meaning what you just described, which is fantastic, is you had a rebbi who understood, you had a yeshiva that gave you the space you needed, and you had an environment that really spoke to you. I know, and our listeners do now as well, that you're quite the outdoorsman. Is that just a natural part of your personality? Do you think that the great outdoors has something to do with ADHD? Do you think in terms of it being helpful? And do you think that just having that time to reflect was its own beast, we'll say, in a good way?
Right. So I would say, I think you hit all of them. I think they're all part and parcel. I think the biggest one, though, truth is so hard to say because they're all huge. Because if we don't have a yeshiva that gives you the space, then you're not getting anywhere. And if you don't have a rebbi or someone that's older than you that thinks you're cool, you won't get anywhere either. And And I think I want to stress the most, Muncie gave me that openness and that outdoors and freedom. And I remember just running through the mountains. I remember like seeing a deer and like following it for like a while and just being. And I think the biggest part, very cool part of my development was that I was in a dorm where everyone else, I was basically the only out of towner there. There may be one or two people that were out of town in the dorm. So every Sunday afternoon, no one was around, and I was very, very bored. And I think boredom is the greatest thing for someone with ADHD. And you would think that it's the opposite. You would think that it's the worst thing in the world. Like boredom is terrible, but boredom is the space where you think and, oh, I'm so bored. Okay, so what should I do? What do I want to do? All the things I did so far didn't get me anywhere. It's like a blank canvas, boredom. I think that the story of an artist is all the days that he's looking at a blank page that builds worlds. And then from there once you start writing, you're writing everything. But how long could you sit and look at that blank page for? How long could you say to yourself, Machavas V'alamai, without doing anything? I think is the power behind a lot of the fuel that brings great lives. So I would say that the outdoors, freedom, and boredom. If a person has a smartphone and he can watch movies, he'll get nowhere because he's never bored. He's always drowned away. You need to be bored for so long to build yourself.
That's fascinating. Can I guess dive into that a little bit? When they say that boredom is the kryptonite of ADHD, I guess can we qualify that by saying that when you're supposed to be somewhere, in air quotes, and that place is boring, that becomes kryptonite because whatever they want you to be doing, and if that thing is bored, not quite going to work out. But boredom as in, like you said, boredom as in the sense of freedom with no one telling you what to do, that gives you that opportunity to, map out your own path.
Right. I would say also, I never experienced boredom before I came to Aruvain because there was class. So now I'm skipping class. Whoa, that's exciting. And now there's principal coming. So now I'm running away. Now I'm thinking about an alibi. I remember I once came to school and then hitched away from school before I got into school. So my parents thought I was in school, and school thought I was at home. And then I was running around all day, terrified that my parent would see me hitching. You have no idea the feeling. This is like going back to like 7th grade.
Oh my.
So yeah, this isn't it's not boredom. It's not boredom when you're in school and you're making trouble and then you're getting kicked out. All that stuff is boredom is that you're free and there's no rules and you're just alone in the woods. That's where, so the kryptonite, what you were saying is that oh, I'm in class and I have to write and that's so boring.
Right.
That when you have to write, that's not the boredom that I'm talking about. It's
great.
Do anything.
Right.
Now what do I want to do? That's the boredom.
Right. So how do you feel you found that? Meaning, and coaching, I find, I guess maybe this question will answer itself. I find people have things that they need to do, but no structure. And then they don't find themselves being productive. They find themselves getting lost. In your case, doesn't sound like that's what happened. It sounds like you did a lot of valuable reflective thinking. Does my question answer itself? Meaning, I'm looking at people who have things they want to be doing, so they're getting lost. Whereas when you say there was nothing to do, you mean nothing.
Yeah, it's just boredom. It's great. It's the best. And if you give them chores, oh, I have to find what I should do, what's gonna be, what's this, that's all not part of it.
Right.
I remember I bought a guitar once. Okay, I hate guitar. Who knew? Bought bongos. I hate bongos too. I remember when I bought my harmonica, I was telling my friend, I know that I hate it. I literally just can't stop myself from buying it. I want to play it. I know I'm going to give it up probably next week. And I literally just I was almost forced to go to the store and buy it because oh, it's such a cool thing. I guess that's classic ADHD. But all these things brought me to what I know that I do like now.
I guess I'm wondering this. Sometimes when people have nothing that they need to be doing, they might get lost searching for some kind of stimulation that may or may not be terribly good for them. And it doesn't sound like you went down that road. It sounds like you went down that road of reflection, nature, all these nice things. What do you think sparked that?
I think I was forced into it. I don't know. There was nothing to do. What should I do? Okay, let me just go to the woods. But there was nothing to do here either. I'll tell you, where do I want to be? I don't know. I guess it just came naturally.
Gift from God.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, I'll give you credit too. Excellent. Okay, what were things looking like right after high school? This few years.
So after high school, I don't think I had an after high school. I think my 11th and 12th grade wasn't really high school. Like I was saying, I just became myself, and I began doing what I wanted to do and pursuing the things that I wanted to pursue, and I just never stopped. I don't think, like, I'm still in touch with my 11th grade rebbi and my 12th grade rebbi. I'm still in 11. Like, it's just one huge building block. I don't think there was any like before or after anything. I remember actually once, super random, I think, but I remember I was very happy, especially when I came for like first year, second year, and after like a lot of work, and I had like a phase, like the hippie phase. But we could talk about that. It's I think a little fascinating, and I lived for the exact moment always, and therefore I was happy because every exact moment is happy. There's never any, except for physical pain, everything's good in that second. And I lived like that, and I like trained my mind to think like that. And I remember every morning I used to wake up and think like, I'm the happiest I ever, and everything was like perfect and the best. I remember once the yeshiva made me go to a therapist because they thought I was an alcoholic and thought I drank every single day, and that's why I'm so happy. I'm walking around with it. And I never drank in my life. Like, it's a little firm, whatever. But like, I just remember that was like a good
What a compliment.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think also. Like, a lot of work, and you get,
That's the thing you that.
All days.
All right.
It's a good place to be.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Did you see any perks, pluses in your ADHD at this time? I mean, it sounds like to a certain degree, it sent you on a course, but I guess more within the ADHD itself. Was there anything that any skills or talents that you saw in yourself that you can link to your ADHD?
I don't think so. I think that at that point in my life, it was just something that made me not be able to do the things that I, quote unquote, should be doing.
Right.
And it wasn't easy, these things. And it wasn't like a pleasure to go into the woods, and it wasn't a pleasure to be bored and to be thinking all day. And no, I think that it just caused hardship for my whole life.
Sorry, can I bring up one episode that I thought you were going to bring up, but I guess you didn't think so. The story of you're starting your own camp.
Okay,
talk to us. What do you got?
Okay, sure. That's an interesting story. So you're saying that.
It's a great one.
It came organically. It wasn't like, oh, I want to start a camp and let's start going from there. I had a boy that I liked working with, and he used to go to Camp Simcha. After 18, I'll let it go back to Camp Simcha.
Right.
Because he had nothing to do.
Right. Tell our fans what Camp Simcha is.
Yeah, Camp Simcha. It's like a camp where there's 2 weeks and 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks is for like kids in wheelchairs, disabilities, basically preventing them from having normal fun and from going to a normal camp. And they need a whole different world to give them life, to give anything. The second half is cancer and people are struggling with a lot of illness, and they just need like camp times 1,000 to give them some happiness in your life. So this boy was from the first act, and he was a wheelchair boy, wasn't able to take care of himself at all. And so I figured I'll take him on a trip. I'll take him on a nice trip, and I'll try to raise like $2,000, and we'll go out for 2 weeks, and we'll have an awesome time, and that will give him first what to look forward to the year before and what to think back about the year after.
Fantastic. What were you when this was going on?
I was 18.
18.
Because at the age, I was
Between
in class.
Right.
And that's when he's too.
Right.
So I was 18 then. Was that? That's 12th grade.
Graduating, yeah.
That's first year?
It's great. I mean, it's the summer after 12th grade if you're 18, depending on when your birthday is.
Makes sense. That's probably what it was. And, but then someone else called me up and he's also in the same situation. He's like, let's get together and we'll do something together. And then we got a few more people that called. And then all of a sudden the camp was starting and we called Bigger Colin and they gave us a van that fit 4 wheelchairs. And we got another van also. And we called Newman's Yeshiva. And that was like a very new yeshiva then, and elevators and everything.
Right.
And we just started the camp. We called it, my mother actually came up with the name Camp on Wheels.
Camp on Wheels.
Because it was a traveling camp.
Right.
And it was rocking. So it was a triple entendre. And it was a sick show. Yeah, I'm not sure about ADHD. I guess you could say that I was dancing a lot and wild. But when I look at ADHD, I don't think of it in that way. I think of it in more like a deeper, slower, I guess more negative way. But I know what you're saying, that you're giving me a little spin that it could have brought out a lot of good stuff.
So the way I was thinking was the ADHD impulsivity gone well is entrepreneurship, creative thinking, and jumping out of your comfort zone without thinking whether it's your comfort zone or not, just going. So being 18, 19 years old, calling people up, fundraising, calling up schools, you ought to rent their facility. Sure, no problem. I can't begin to imagine most 18-year-olds doing that.
Right.
So the impulsivity gone incredibly well. Looked to me like that was at work, but I'm not in your head. I don't know.
Right. No, I like that. I like that 100%. I think I would say to that, I don't know why I'm putting so much resistance on the compliment. I apologize. But I think there is a reason actually. This could come out bad, but I don't care that I made him happy.
Right.
I have to take care of myself.
Right.
I wasn't happy. And I don't care if I could build everything for everyone. I'm responsible for me. Right. Man, I'm me. And me, I wasn't able to take care. And the impulsivity, it just comes out negative in self-care. And it just, I think I would say that even that whole thing could just have been me escaping from me and me just searching for adventure to get away from me. And me, the most classic thing in the world is the guy that runs away from his family to help out the rest of the world. Why? Because he's just escaping his family.
Correct.
And he feels like such an idiot that he's escaping his family. Oh, but look, I helped those people, so now I feel so good about myself.
Interesting. So you're saying it's hard to take that as a compliment when you see that you see that side of yourself that you're less proud of.
Yeah, and it could be the whole thing was, again, it was a great way to do it, and it was very nice, and I love that I did it. I'm not regretting it at all. Right. And it's really cool. But I think that if I'm going to say anything to people with ADHD, it would be that self-care is everything. And it's the classic ADHD thing to build catered organizations and to build all dot.
Right.
And you have to take care. You're going to be dead. You're going to be dead with you. Yeah, it's going to be your soul. And of course you get a lot of mitzvahs.
Right.
But deeper than mitzvahs, nothing's deeper than mitzvahs, but the purpose of all the mitzvahs is to grow yourself.
Right.
And to be your own, to build yourself. And if all you're doing is escaping yourself to do chesed, to be honest, the other person is doing chesed to you because who needs who?
Right.
You need them just as much as they need you.
Right.
So if you want to do real chesed, then you need to be focused in yourself first, and that you don't need to. And I don't think I was in that place when I was 18, so it might have looked good.
Right.
I don't think that was the proudest moment of stuff.
Interesting. Wow, it's a really powerful insight.
Yeah.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying that you can use impulsivity gone right to do this, but much better is to work on yourself first and do it from a place of thoughtfulness which sounds mutually exclusive with impulsivity, but it's not, because impulsivity, get right, is often just courage, the courage to jump into something that your nerdier friends might spend 6 months to 2 years doing research on, and you just dive in. But to do that as a conscious decision, knowing, seeing the value in it and therefore wanting to contribute it.
Right. And it's not better, it's necessary.
Right.
It's necessary. It's the only way to have it done in the healthy, proper way.
Okay. So here's take a little bit of a different angle. Do you ever hear people say that ADHD is not real, just a cheap excuse, blah, blah, blah? What do you say when you hear that? I'm sorry. And what do you want to say when you hear that? Because sometimes they're the same thing and sometimes they're not.
Awesome. Usually they're not, unfortunately. But yeah, that's an awesome question. I love that question. I do. Obviously right away, right when I say it, I just like smile, like, yeah, okay, fine, I hear. But it actually does sting. It does sting a little bit because I know the amount that I suffered then and I still do now, just with basically every single aspect of my life. And a guy from the outside, like, oh, he's just not down. He just wants to play video games all day. He just, classic, whatever it is. Because they also feel like they have a little bit of a struggle, but they sit through anyway. And then this guy is playing video games all day and he thinks he's going to get his excuse. So I hear what they're trying to say, but for my own self, I could just tell you for who I was. When I was younger, I was always a smart kid and I was never able to be in class. It sounds like a good chill to be out of class, and it is a good chill for like the first 5 minutes. But then to be sitting, and I remember once my principal gave me like an assignment. There were like stacks of chairs on one side. I had to unstack all of them and stack them back up on the other side of the thing. And like that, yeah, like those are the things that I was doing when I was outside of class. And I just wasn't able to sit and endure a normal class. Even as I got older, I love learning, and I tried making Hashem my whole life, and never in my life was I able to do a second Seder. And when you're older, okay, fine, I have to work, I have to do this, but like when you're in first year or second year, there's no other excuse, like where are you, second Seder? And I was never physically able to get through it. And it's embarrassing, obviously. And that I'm, then, now I don't care so much. But then it's embarrassing. And I remember like either running away or trying to force myself and sitting through and running. I don't know what. I had to come up with crazy things. It's a crazy thing. It sounds stupid, but I was never able to learn a full day. My whole life, that's like all I wanted to do. I wanted to just sit and learn and be close to Hashem. And I remember when I was younger, I used to, even now, I still do it now. I probably did it yesterday. I would go to the base medrash, and I wasn't able to sit. I wasn't able to learn, and I would just tell Hashem, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm just sitting here. Even though I can't learn, I can't open the Gemara, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm sitting right over here, and I just sit through the whole Seder. I walk around a little bit. I think a little bit, and it's not like like a little thing like, oh, I don't have the motivation to do it. There's a brick wall between me and doing it, and there's no way to do it. It's not possible. I remember like I would push myself, open it up, try reading a few words. I literally just, I can. It's so weird because when you just read the words,
right?
I can't describe to you the feeling. You just can't do it. You just read a word and you just close the Gemara and walk away. Why did you just walk away? I don't know. I can't do it. So then why are you sitting in the base medrash for the next 2 hours? Because I really want to do it. And like that was a huge part of my life that I had to deal with. Also, when I was younger, I had like an insane amount of ups and downs. I remember sometimes I used to wake up at like 5 a.m, prepare for like 3-4 hours before davening, talking to Hashem, covered, and I would out in the zone. My essay was going basically through breakfast, and then the next day I wouldn't daven, like no davening at all, like no tzon, away, nothing to do with anything. And the next day back to the base medrash.
Right.
And waves like that destroy a person. Consistency and building and growing I wasn't able to keep my values. Like, all I wanted to do was be able to connect to Hashem. The next day, I just can't do it. I'm out for lunch and I'm doing ... not the greatest things.
Correct.
And then how do you think that makes me feel the next day when I go into the base medrash?
Correct.
But it was just yesterday. What happened? Literally nothing happened. And again, back then, I had no clue what was going on. It was just, okay, I guess I don't want to, but I do, but I can't. I don't know what's like. It's just complete confusion throughout the whole thing. That was a huge thing that happened.
That's to describe as ADHD being consistently inconsistent.
Right.
So when did you discover that was what was going on?
It just always was. It still is.
I mean, when did you discover that that's what it was? Maybe know to attribute it to your ADHD and not to beat yourself up.
I don't think I ever came to a place of oh, now I have ADHD. I think it was always something that everyone always told me.
Right.
Obviously. And I still didn't find so much peace with it. But again, like I was saying before, I think that it's all about accepting self. It didn't say creep. But I guess that here's what we'll talk about, that it's all about accepting self and accepting all the hardships that go with it. I'm not sure.
Okay, hopping over to something else. I know you're a big workout guy, so where do you see the value of working out in ADHD? How has working out helped you?
So I wonder if it was an ADHD thing. Almost for sure it was. For me, I started working out when I was in 7th grade, and it was basically the thing that got me through everything. It was the only thing I was doing in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Even when I was going into 11th and 12th, it was a gigantic part of my life. I don't know. I can't describe the feeling. I go into the gym and there's just no limit. And you push your body, you push yourself to the absolute till you're done. Till I remember, you have no idea how many times I fainted lying on the floor. It kills. I don't know if you ever fainted before. It's extremely painful. I don't think I have. It kills. I don't know. It's just it feels like it's and you push yourself to those limits. And I guess a huge part of ADHD is that a person wants to give his all, hyper-focused, give his all into something. And for me, I found it in the gym. And even till this day, I think the gym is my safest place. And every single day, once a day, put my headphones on and I literally just break myself. And I go till the very, very, very end. And it's life. It's life for me. And I like hitting the weights, jogging, also just being physically fit is I don't know, I feel more powerful, I feel agile, I feel more in control of myself, which is also a huge part of ADHD. So I think those two are huge. And then I would add to that discipline. When a person works out, first of all, obviously it builds discipline, just having to go to the gym every single day. But more than that, I don't think anyone hits those last 2 reps, those last 3 reps, that last half a rep. Everyone racks it too early. When a person pushes himself so far, he calluses his brain and he builds so much toughness. He builds so much character. There's nothing worse than sitting next to a guy on a plane and he's just soft. And he just does wherever the wind takes him, and he goes because he has to go, and he never felt pain, he never experienced hardship, and he never pushed himself. There's nothing to talk about. The only things that those people talk about is what the guy next to them were talking about and what they watched and saw. But to experience, you're living in a different world. And for me, when I work out, it pushes me to that pain, and it builds that character, that calluses. It gives me the space to hold more pain, and it gives me the ability, I don't know, to be fully engaged. It's hard to describe feeling, but working out for me is everything. I would not be able to survive without it.
Wow. So Rav Noah Weinberg had a line where he says, "Pain is the price of pleasure." I'm hearing that you agree with that strongly.
Yeah. Again, I'm gonna argue back on the pleasure aspect of it. very against pleasure.
Okay.
But I would say that pain is the price of peace and security.
Got it. Okay. Peace and security. It's possible that you're qualifying what he means, what Rolf means by pleasure. Entirely about it.
It's my perception of pleasure is just base pleasure. That's what I'm thinking. Just like enjoying something. And like, I'm fire against that. I think the more people go to that, the more.
Got it. Okay. So I would say that, Rav draws that contrast between, true pleasure that's, gained through pain, versus comfort, where you get it for nothing. You've put in nothing. You get candy. It sounds like that's what you mean when you say that pleasure doesn't speak to you. It's sort of shallow and doesn't become a part of you and doesn't have any meaning to it. It just kind of is. It's fun for a minute. But what really speaks to you is pleasure that speaks to your core, yourself, that has meaning, investment. That's what you're referring to. Fantastic. Wow. Okay, what would you say is the role of healthy eating?
So for me, like we were actually talking about this before.
Pre-game,
exactly. I never struggled with my diet. I basically everything that I eat is pre-planned almost a week before. So basically everything that I eat is the things that I actually want to eat. Obviously every part of life feeds on the next part. A person that doesn't take care of himself physically is not going to be able to get anywhere very far emotionally, and vice versa. And spiritually goes right into that trio as well. It's all, you have to build from the beginning, and the easiest place to start is with your body. Your body is the machine that works for you, and that machine isn't working properly, and nothing will be able to work properly. Nutrition it's everything. It's the gas that runs you. You can't think without your brain. Your brain isn't good without proper nutrients. And I think that the foundation of everything is healthy eating with healthy workouts.
Excellent. Okay, Ari, this has been fantastic. Looking forward to more of this. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again for listening to this episode of the ADHD Heroes podcast. For questions about the podcast, you can email us at adhdheroespodcast@gmail.com. Also, for sponsorships or to share your story, your ADHD story, you can also email us at the same place, adhdheroespodcast@gmail.com. To be in touch with me about ADHD coaching, writing, or speaking engagements, you can email me at rsreichadhdcoach@gmail.com. Be sure to check out my website, rsreich.com, adhdcoach.com. You can follow me on LinkedIn, or you can check out my blog on nefesh.org. Check out my blog there under my name. Important disclaimer: podcasts are great, but they do not take the place of mental health help or medical help. So if you need help with mental health or need a doctor, be sure to be in contact with some of them. Please, if you like this show, please rate, review, and share with a friend. That's how these things get out there. Thank you again for listening, and thank you to our producers at Pretty Easy Podcasts.